oh, so you hire less qualified black women just because they're black women. And they say, what? How dare you say that? You literally just said that that's what you're doing. And we see you doing it. And so we are pointing out that you're doing it. Wanda Sykes spoke at this event. Not the most important, public figure at this point, but she did speak at this event, and she decided to confess to a crime publicly, which I thought was interesting. Listen.
I'm gonna be up front with you. If when it comes to a position and I look on the paper and they right there, or she might be right here, and he's up there, I'm hiring the woman, and that's just how I operate. And I'm be honest with you, if she's a black woman, you got the job. Girl, you got the job.
Okay, first of all, the DOJ should be announcing an investigation into Wanda Sykes today. She just confessed to a civil rights violation. She just confessed to a crime. I mean, that's what happened there. She confessed to a federal crime. Racial and gender discrimination in hiring is against the law. The EEOC should be investigating, just as they would if any white man stood up there and said that he gives the edge to white men in hiring. I mean, can you imagine any white man saying that and not being immediately sued into oblivion, if not thrown in prison? No, you can't imagine that. So same should apply here. But you also see the game that these people play, right? This is the gaslighting. So here is Wanda Sykes explicitly admitting that she will hire a black woman regardless of her qualifications, admitting that if a woman, especially a black woman, is even less qualified. She said that. She said, well, the man could be up here and maybe the woman's a little down here. I'm still going to choose the woman. So explicit, just coming out and saying, yeah, I'll take the less qualified person because of their gender and or race. And she admits this on stage to a cheering crowd. And yet, if we then turn around and say that DEI hires are less qualified, then we get called racist, even though they admit it. So they say, we hire less qualified black women because they're black women. And then we say, oh, so you hire less qualified black women just because they're black women. And they say, what? How dare you say that? Well, no, we didn't say that. You said it. You just said it like a second ago, and we're repeating what you said. You literally just said that that's what you're doing, and we see you doing it, and so we are pointing out that you're doing it. Thanksgiving is all about gratitude, friends, family, and food, but between travel costs, groceries, and Black Friday deals, your wallet might be feeling the squeeze. If money stress is creeping in this holiday season, it's the perfect time to focus on your credit health, because strong credit means less financial stress, not just in November, but all year long. That's where Kickoff comes in. Kickoff makes building credit incredibly simple. Sign up in minutes from your phone with no credit check, no hidden fees, and zero interest. Users with credit under 600 grew an average of 84 points in their first year with on-time payments. For just $1 your first month, you can start building credit immediately. Then continue with transparent plans starting at $5 a month. Set up autopay and you'll never worry about missing a payment while the credit bureaus see your good behavior, and your score can grow fast. With over 1 million users and hundreds of thousands of positive reviews, it's clear why Kickoff has become the #1 credit builder on the App Store. It's a safe, trusted, and affordable way to take control of your credit journey. Start building credit with Kickoff today and get your first month for as little as $1. That's 80% off the normal price when you get to when you go to getkickoff.com/Walsh. That's Kickoff without the C. Kickoff.com/Walsh. Must sign up via getkickoff.com/Walsh to activate offer. Offer applies to new Kickoff customers, first month only. Subject to approval, offer subject to change. Average first year credit score impact of plus 84 points. Vantage score 3.0 between January 2023 and January 2024 for Kickoff credit account users who started with a score below 600, who paid on time, and who had no delinquencies or collections added to their credit profile during the period. Late payments may negatively impact your credit score. Individual results may vary. But that's the game. And of course, and the result is that now, because of this sort of thing, not just because of Wanda Sykes, but because she's a small symptom of a larger problem, as we know. And because of that, this is why all black women in important professional positions are under suspicion, basically, because these DEI policies have been in place for so long, and leftists like Wanda Sykes and countless others have admitted that they give preference to black women, even if they're less qualified. Joe Biden admitted that famously. So, and black women are not the only ones who benefit, but they check multiple DEI boxes, which means that now you have to wonder, anytime a black woman is in an important position, but you have to wonder, well, did they get that job because they really happen to be the most qualified for it? Or did they get it because they were hired by somebody like Wanda Sykes, who will come out and say that she'll give the job to the less qualified person if it's a black woman? So you have to wonder that. Were they put there because they checked the demographic boxes, or were they put there because they're qualified? That's the result. It's not our fault. Right? I know that me saying that, like, that's going to get clipped. Matt Walsh says that we should be suspicious of every black woman who's in an important professional position. Well, I didn't say we should be. I said that we are, because that's the situation that you guys have created. Because you guys have decided to put the fact that someone's a black woman above qualifications. And so now every time a black woman is in any kind of professional position, we have to, like, how did she get that job? And no, we don't do that with white men. So we never have to be suspicious of white men in that way, in any position. Now, there are plenty of white men who can be incompetent, who can be not good at their jobs, but no white man is going to be hired because he's a white man. So we never have to worry about that. Any white man in any position, we never have to go, well, did he only get that job because he's a white man? Never have to wonder that, because that definitely is not the case. In fact, in most jobs, you look at it now and you go, well, he got that even though he's a white man. That we know he came up in a system that was biased against him. We have actual affirmative action policies up till recently that were explicitly biased against him, and he still got into this position. So that's a mark in his favor. That's all the more reason to think that he must be, like, super qualified. But you look at a black woman and you go, well, yeah, she could be very qualified. It's perfectly possible, but also could just be there because she's a black woman. Either one of those scenarios are possible. And we don't know which one. This is the obvious. This is the point that Charlie Kirk made. Not all long ago, and it got in a lot of trouble with the left. Made this point about black airline pilots. And of course, you had a bunch of leftists, and even some people, even some conservatives, of course, who were saying, "Well, that's racist. That's going too far." But no, this is the point. When you start elevating people based solely on their race or their gender or the demographics, and then now we don't know. Well, are you saying that every black pilot is unqualified? No, of course not. There's plenty of qualified ones, but I don't know which is which. How are we supposed to know? And that's the whole point. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.